What if Jesus returned tonight? Not centuries ago, not in stories, not in paintings, not in memories, but now, into this world, this anxious world, this distracted world. What would happen? Would people even recognize him? Or would they scroll past him the same way they scroll past suffering every day? Look around. The world has never been louder, yet souls have never felt more empty. People are connected to everyone. Minds are overwhelmed. Hearts are restless. Fear spreads faster than peace. Everywhere you look, confusion, division, loneliness, distraction. People chase success while silently collapsing inside. They smile online while crying in private. They surround themselves with noise, what they are trying to escape. And somewhere beneath all the chaos, creation itself seems to groan. Storms grow stronger. Nations grow colder. Truth becomes harder to recognize. The world moves faster every year, but the human soul cannot breathe at this speed forever. So imagine this, a city full of lights, millions awake at 2 a.m., phones glowing in dark rooms, and suddenly, something changes. Not with violence, not with noise, but with presence. A presence so pure that fear itself begins trembling. A presence so peaceful that every hidden wound inside the human heart suddenly feels exposed. Jesus walks among humanity again, not as the version people created in arguments, not as religion used him, not as politics twisted him, but as he truly is. Love without hatred, truth without manipulation, power without cruelty, light without darkness, crying silently at night. Many people spoke about God, but very few truly knew him. What if Jesus walked through modern cities? Or would he walk quietly into hospital rooms? Would he sit with celebrities? Or with the lonely person crying silently at night? Or with the forgotten? Because even before, he was always drawn toward the broken, toward those carrying invisible pain, toward the exhausted, the spiritually thirsty. Perhaps he would walk through crowded streets while nobody noticed, a homeless man sitting beside him, a tired nurse passing him, a teenager silently battling anxiety, a woman praying quietly through heartbreak, and maybe he would stop beside the people the world ignores, because heaven often moves toward the souls society overlooks. But if Jesus returned today, some would mock him, some would fear him, some would deny him, some would try turning him into entertainment. Others would demand signs while ignoring the miracle already standing before them, because humanity still struggles with the same sickness. People want comfort without transformation. They want truth that never challenges them. They want light without leaving darkness behind. But real divine presence changes people. You cannot stand before truth and remain completely the same. Masks begin falling, illusions begin breaking, the hidden condition of the soul becomes visible. Imagine Jesus looking into the eyes of humanity today, not merely seeing appearances, but seeing everything, every hidden fear, every secret grief, every quiet prayer, every buried wound, every moment people felt abandoned, every tear cried, and still, his eyes remain filled with compassion, because divine love sees the worst parts of humanity and still chooses mercy. Many people think the greatest danger in the world is war or disaster or economic collapse, but perhaps the greatest danger is a world losing its soul, a generation drowning in distraction, a humanity forgetting how to be instantly, but starves the spirit. People have more information than ever, yet many feel more lost than ever. Why? Because knowledge alone cannot heal the human heart. The soul needs truth, the soul needs love, the soul needs God. And maybe that is why so many people secretly feel exhausted, not physically, spiritually, because no amount of entertainment can heal emptiness. No amount of money can replace inner peace. No amount of attention can satisfy eternal hunger. What if Jesus returned, and instead of condemning the world immediately, simply sat people in silence? What if he looked at humanity with tears instead of anger? Tears because people forgot who they were. Tears because so many from love. Tears because people spend years chasing temporary things while neglecting eternity inside them. You built entire worlds around your anxiety. You fill every moment with noise, but your soul has been thirsty for peace this whole time. Imagine millions suddenly realizing the thing they were truly searching for was never fame, never endless distraction. It was connection, it was purpose, it was divine love. Because the deepest human hunger has never changed. The soul still longs to feel seen, known, forgiven, safe, loved. But if Jesus returned today, perhaps the most shocking thing would not be his power. Perhaps the most shocking thing be his peace. A peace untouched by chaos, a calm stronger than fear, a light untouched by darkness. While the world panics, he remains still. While people argue endlessly, he speaks gently. While humanity divides itself constantly, he reminds people they were created for love. And maybe that is the message this generation most. Not more noise, not more hatred, more fear, but awakening, a return to the soul, a return to truth, a return to God, because the signs of spiritual emptiness are everywhere. People are overstimulated but emotionally numb, surrounded by content but starving for meaning. constantly connected but painfully lonely. Humanity learned how to build machines. And perhaps that is why so many people secretly feel something strange lately, a restlessness, an ache, a feeling that the world cannot continue forever. Maybe souls are beginning to wake up. Maybe people are realizing that endless consumption cannot replace inner peace. Maybe the silence people fear speaking. And if Jesus stood before you tonight, what would matter anymore? Your status, your followers, your image, your achievements? Or would all the temporary things suddenly become small? Because in the presence of eternity, many earthly things lose their power. The heart remembers what truly matters. Faith, humility, compassion, truth. Maybe the real question is not, what if Jesus returned? Maybe the real question is, if he stood before you to night him, would your soul recognize him? Not with words, not performance, but with sincerity. Because some people know every scripture, while their hearts remain asleep. And others whisper only one honest prayer through tears, and heaven hears it immediately. If the world feels dark right now, do not let your heart become dark too. If society becomes colder, become someone who carries warmth. If people spread fear, be someone who spreads peace. If humanity loses compassion, do not lose yours. The world needs awakened souls. Souls who remember that every person carries hidden pain. Souls who choose love even when bitterness feels easier. Souls who remain faithful even when the world becomes uncertain. Because spiritual light shines brightest in dark seasons. And perhaps that is why you're here listening right now. But because inside your soul is searching for more, searching for truth, searching for peace, searching for God. Do not ignore that longing. The world may continue becoming louder. And no matter how confused this generation becomes, love remains stronger than fear, light remains stronger than darkness, hope remains stronger than despair. So if Jesus returned tonight, perhaps his message would not begin with destruction, perhaps it would begin with awakening, a call back to what humanity forgot, a reminder that the soul was never created merely to consume, compete, and survive. The soul was created to love, to heal, to awaken, to walk with God. And maybe his first words to this exhausted world, "Come back to me, you have wandered long enough." And maybe the greatest miracle would not be seeing Jesus appear in the sky. Maybe the greatest miracle would be hearts finding when souls change. And souls change when they rediscover divine love. So tonight, before you sleep, what kind of person am I becoming? What kind of person am I becoming? Am I spreading darkness or light? Am I living only for myself or becoming a source of peace for others? Because every small act of love matters. Every sincere prayer matters. The return of Jesus does not begin only someday in the future. Perhaps it begins every human heart chooses truth over illusion, faith over fear. The world is thirsty for peace, and maybe heaven is waiting for people willing to carry it. So walk gently, love deeply, stay awake spiritually. Remember, even in the darkest times, God has not abandoned humanity, and it is calling you home.